Alright guys, so this should be the third and final video for the Google Drawing self-portrait. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish drawing the rest of the facial features. I've drawn the basic shape of the nose here, but as you can see it needs a little bit more fleshing out, a little bit more detail. Of course I'm going to do the eyes, and I'm going to talk about shading a little bit. Eyebrows I'm going to do as well. Shading is what's going to add more of a realistic feel to this drawing. Of course, remember your keyboard shortcuts, so Control-Alt+ to zoom in and Control-Alt- to zoom out. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the polyline tool first. Some of you may be tempted to try the curve tool on this drawing, but I encourage you to try to stay with the polyline tool. Keep your shapes all the same basic size. Control-Alt+ to zoom in, and back to my polyline tool. So I'm going to start right here at the tear duct, and I'm actually going to go above the eyelid just slightly, and you'll see why I'm doing that in just a moment. Okay, now for this color, I'm going to, of course, make my line transparent. I'm going to go back to this color right here, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this color slightly darker. So I'm going to scooch down even more. So I'll have two custom shades, skin tone shades, to work with now. So back to the cursor tool and hold down Shift. Always want to hold down Shift when you're doing this. Look at, basically, in order to make this your face look like you, the features of the face, how far they are apart, how close they are together, and the size that they are in relation to one another, that's what makes your face unique. So you really want to be careful here and make sure that you're sliding that shape as close to where it appears in relation to the whole face. So for instance, right here, and this is what we do when we're drawing with pencils as well, if we're drawing a portrait of someone else, or if we're drawing a self-portrait. So this shape right here, there's a little gap from the edge of the eyelid to this edge of my face, and it's really the socket, and it's really easy to see on my face because I have deep eye sockets. So what I did basically is I just kind of looked at this distance right in here and then estimated what it was here, and I also did that on this edge. So the edge of this right here, the edge of my other side of my eye, the corner, how far is it from the edge of this shape, and then how far from this corner to the edge of this shape, and I tried to get it in there as close as possible. It doesn't have to be mathematically correct, but you need to try to get it as close as you possibly can. So now I'm going to do the other side here. Remember, the more you zoom in with this, the more likely it is that you're not going to have your drawing freeze and close on its own before you're ready. Okay, so I'm going to go up here, and alright, so I've already got that color, and we're going to zoom out. If you look here at my drawing, you'll see that there is an area where this shape goes outside, but over here it doesn't really do that. So what I want to do is I want to edit this shape. So I'm going to double click on it, and that's where I get the purple edit points. And this is another reason why when you're drawing you don't have to worry about it being absolute perfect, because you can edit the shapes as you go. So I want these two shapes to kind of lock into each other like a puzzle. So now that looks pretty, that looks even better. So now I can go back to the polyline tool and I can zoom out. So now I'm going to do the white of the eye. But one thing that I want to contend, and just like when we were talking about the teeth a couple of videos ago, that white isn't really white. It's an off-white color. We think of it as white because everybody calls it the white part of our eye, and then when you look directly at it, it seems as though it's white, but an artist is a keen observer, and they know that colors aren't always what we think they are. Color is reflected light, so the eyeball is not exactly 100% white. Look at that, it's more of a gray color. So there's a little gap here where the tear duct is, and that's not white at all. So I'm just going to leave that area alone, and I'm going to just trace. Okay, and I'm looking at the, this shape should be pretty easy to slide over, but I'm looking at the relationship of right here, how far is it here, how far is it here, but it should pretty much lock right into the place that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and select it, hold down shift, and we're going to scooch it on over, and maybe a little bit more like that, and that looks pretty good. So we're doing quite well. Alright, that's pretty good for now. Let's talk for a moment here, just before I sign off, about some things that I could do to add to this. So this has to do with shading, and I'm not going to actually do this, I'm just going to talk about this. But, like for instance, my cheek right here. This area of my cheek is a different color than this area of my cheek, and this area of my cheek is a different color than this area of my cheek. Those are 3 different tones, and each tone is actually has changes within it. So I could draw a shape to draw this pink area of skin. I could draw a shape to draw this grayish area of skin. Same thing up here. There's a shadow right above my eyebrow line that is cast by my hat. I could work on that. I could also draw really small little long thin shapes to do the lines of my forehead, and I probably will go back and do this because this drawing is looking pretty good and I want to finish it. Similarly, the hat has shapes on it. Look at this, the fold right here. Look at this, the crease of the bill of my hat, the shadow underneath it. There's no light underneath here, and that's why I have a cast shadow here. My ears have no detail. I need to go in and draw the shapes of the folds of my ears. What else? Oh, also the beard. The beard has some, not much, but it does have some gradation of light in it. There's some lighter areas here and in here, and then of course down here is really, really dark, so I could vary that as well. Similarly, the shirt, there's the folds of the collar and these types of things. All of this needs to be drawn, and my nose needs to be drawn as well, the nostril. And there's 2 different areas. There's an overall shape, and then there's a darker area. There's a line here, those are called the smile lines, the folds of around your nose. I need to draw that. There's even more detail in this area that I can add. It's starting to really look like me, but it's not going to have any sort of depth if I don't add more details to it. I'm not going to do all of that in this video, but since I talked about it, you need to try to work on those things in your drawing. And I may come back and do another video at some point, but I think this is a great start. You can see how you can build a really nice, unique self-portrait with Google Drawing just by stacking shapes. So anyways, that's going to do it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have fun.